With YouTube demonetizing independent media, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and this is my review, my what I think of Avengers Infinity War, the 19th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, basically the beginning of the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, according to Kevin Feige, and in a movie that I can only really honestly say is just super good. I freaking loved it. Right. Then again, I'm a huge MCU fan. I've seen all the movies in theaters pretty much when they came out, like within like the first, midnight show or the first day. And this is one that wow. I mean, like, wow, they are really, they are really giving you an event. It's an event. I remember when the first Iron Man came out 10 years ago. I took my, at the time, 16-year-old sister to go and see the movie. And, remember sitting there going to the midnight show. She didn't know anything about Iron Man. She didn't give much of a crap. We both loved the movie, loved seeing Nick Fury at the end, saying they're going to put together a team. And from there, it's been this long epic. All of these characters that you know, that you love, that you're very happy to see on the screen, and you realize that it is going to be coming to an end for a few of them. Right off the bat, by the way, there are spoilers here, just so you know. And if you want to go see, if you know what I think, should you see it or should you skip it? Clearly see it, but in the best possible location, like IMAX 2D, if you can, because screw 3D. But Loki gets it right off the bat. Hemsworth gets it right off the bat. Valkyrie is completely not on the ship. Korg, MIA. Maybe Korg will be alive. Maybe. I'm hoping Korg will be around. Thanos has 2 Infinity Stones and starts heading off towards Earth in order to collect other 2 that are there. And of course, this kind of kicks off the entire the movie. Spider-Man and Iron Man and Doctor Strange end up getting captured. Well, Doctor Strange gets captured by one of the Black Order. Iron Man and Spider-Man basically infiltrate the ship in order to rescue him and therefore bring the fight to Thanos. Thor ends up getting away, meets the Guardians of the Galaxy. They break off in 2 teams. One to go and get a new weapon from a bunch of dwarves who can craft and forge Thanos killing weapons, and then the rest of them head off towards where'd they go? They went to go. Oh yeah, they went to nowhere in order to meet the Collector, in order to get back the Soul Stone, and of course everything hits the fan. Fights abound all the time. This movie doesn't stop what it's doing. Right. Eventually it converges on Earth in Wakanda. Huge fight scene, basically in the same field where they shot the end fight scene from Black Panther. Not really knocking it. My only real complaint there was all of a sudden, everyone's on foot fighting these weird alien creatures, but at the same time, the battle rhinos were nowhere to be found. I do feel like that was a bit of an omission that would have been pretty cool, but it was great seeing everyone together. The movie itself is long. It's like 2.5 hours long without freaking previews. You don't really feel it though. Everything flows scene to scene to scene to scene to scene, and you don't spend so much time with one group of characters that you're not that you're like, oh, I wonder what's going on over here, or I'm kind of bored, or you feel like you're not getting your money's worth. It goes bit to bit to bit to bit to bit, even with some moments that are kind of downright shocking, like the scene when they had to get the Soul Stone and Thanos takes Gamora to the planet, and greeting them there, believe it or not, is fucking Red Skull. I was so surprised when Red Skull popped up. I heard the voice. I looked over at Mr. Repsion, and I'm like, dude, is that Red Skull? And he's like, I think it's Red Skull. And then out of nowhere, here comes Red Skull. And I was like, holy shit, Red fucking Skull, man. I thought this dude was gone. It's been 7 years since Captain America, the first Avenger, came out, right? And that was a thing. That he disappeared off into the cosmos, and now we know he's been there for this entire time, which is definitely a kind of wrapping up that plot hole, because that was something that was never really touched upon in the movie. That was one of those loose threads that they said they were going to start clearing up in this one. But really going down the roster of characters, Captain America, badass, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow was great. Anytime I can get more Rhodey in my life, I'm happy. I liked Falcon. He was good. Albeit like, those guys got maybe a little bit less time than in other movies, but they still were good additions to the scenes that they were in. Wanda and Scarlet Witch and Vision were great. Their love was actually really a prominent part of the film, about the should he be destroyed? Should she destroy him in order to destroy the stone? That sort of thing. And it was good because that was what they were protecting. They were ultimately protecting humanity, but I think they were trying to protect love, and love is a large driving force in our world and in stories especially. So it gives us something emotional to anchor to. At the same time, you had Iron Man and Spider-Man and freaking Star-Lord and Drax all fighting, and Doctor Strange all fighting Thanos together in this amazing fight sequence that was like totally akin to the scene in the first Avengers when they're like all on the bridge fighting the aliens, the Chitauri, and they are, they're kind of like bouncing off each other and comboing up. Here is a 5-person combo, and it just works in order to get the gauntlet off of him. But yeah, like even then it was almost completed, but love got in the way. Because Gamora finally told Peter Quill that she loved him. He told her that he loved her, and then Thanos tossed her off of a cliff in order to get the Soul Stone. Probably should have led with that one afterward. That part, I saw that was coming. It was still sad nonetheless. But I also know, and this is kind of the problem with the way Marvel's kind of talked about things, and I think they're kind of reining it in now, is we know Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be back in 2020 for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It is the last movie with this particular crew on the Guardians. We know, so we know she's not going to die. We know they're going to bring her back. And pretty much anyone else who died is going to come back in one form or another. And that kind of takes us to like ultimately like the end of the movie, which is basically where you've got, the final fight. Thanos comes to Earth to get the Mind Stone. He's got, 5 out of the 6 gems. He is messing everybody up. Wanda ends up destroying the Mind Stone, but he just uses the Time Stone to reverse time for it to come back, for him to then rip it out of Vision's head, like literally, attach it to the gauntlet, and then Thor, now wielding, Stormbreaker, which is like a freaking axe. That was awesome scene too. Ends up, almost killing him, and then Thanos snaps his fingers and effectively kills half of the population of, I'm assuming, the entire known universe, because that's his entire goal, is almost like ethnic cleansing through genocide. Maybe not so much ethnically, but like just taking out half the population. Imagine Samuel L. Jackson's entire arc in Kingsman, the Secret Service, just taking out half of humanity in order to cull the herd, which I thought was an interesting approach. But wasn't that also Ego's whole goal at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was to take out certain planets that don't suit anyone anymore? Like that's kind of a, planet killing type stuff seems to be kind of one of the big themes here. But he succeeded. He succeeded, and he goes back to his home planet of Titan, and Titan seems to have been restored, and he sits there and he enjoys the sunrise after finally taking a rest from all the work he has done. And as a result of that, the movie just simply ends. Now, clearly there's a lot that I've skipped over here, but I want to talk about the highlights, right? Highlights is I thought the dialogue was great. I thought the jokes really flew. I liked that they addressed the absence of not only Hawkeye, but Ant-Man, claiming that both were at this point, kind of like they took house arrest deals. And so they're just kind of out of the way, but we know they're both going to appear in the next movie, because in the next movie they said characters that didn't get a lot of play in this movie would be very much on the next one. And the reason why I think too has to do with the fact that really he eliminated half the population of Earth. So a lot of people are dead. It was like watching The Rapture. In fact, that is the end credit sequence too, where it's Nick Fury and Maria Hill. When this happens, they're driving, both of them get evaporated. As Nick is getting evaporated, or he's disappearing or disintegrating, he puts out a call to Captain Marvel. And that's, you know, clearly they're going to be bringing her into the movie the next year. She's got her prequel movie, I guess you could call it her origin story, in March, and then in May of next year is going to be that. So I mean, granted, it's like a 20-year gap between her origin movie and where she's going to be. For this one, I don't know. I've heard different rumors that like they were going to go back in time and then like bring her up to current time through a time jump on that one. I got no idea, but I do know that in the next movie, because they did reshoot a lot of scenes from like other films. I know especially the final scene in the last Avengers, or the first Avengers, where Thor and Loki travel up the Bifrost when they're in that park. I know that they reshot that scene. I don't specifically know why just yet, but I have a feeling it has to do with either flashbacks or it has to do with certain cues. I know that Kevin Feige has said that there are going to be people, you know, that these deaths are permanent. I don't think they're permanent right now. I really don't think they're permanent right now. I think they're going to be, I think whatever happens by the end of this next movie, that will be permanent. Because we already know that in some of the cases, they're going to be in other movies. So at least that's where I currently know things to be. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But at the end of the day, the Russo brothers delivered not a movie, not a film, but an event. They delivered an absolute event, and that event is crazy. It's crazy good, and it's one that I very much want to watch again, and it's one that I'm going to be salivating for the next one in order to finally wrap up what is the first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I want to know your guys' thoughts about this one. Do you think that it's good? Do you think that it's bad? Do you think that it's the best Marvel movie yet? Do you think it's horrible? These are things I want to know. Please keep spoilers to a minimum. However, if you do wait in the comments section, be prepared to get them. So there is clearly that. Anyway, my name is Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.